Mr. King, have you had a conversation with Senator Sinema about voting rights?
No, we have requested to have conversations, and up to now, we've not been able to have a conversation. When it was time to make sure the democracy was preserved and saved, what did you do?
My job this MLK weekend is to say that if you want to push the false narrative of colorblindness, don't quote the I Have a Dream speech. You know which one I'm talking about. Don't even do it. Don't pretend like the late, great Martin Luther King didn't see color or hoped people didn't acknowledge race. Because in order to think that, you would have to ignore the rest of what he had to say on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, let alone what he said before and after that day. First, I must confess that over the last few years, I've been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in the stride toward freedom is not the white citizens counselor or the Ku Klux Klaner, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order than to justice. White Americans must recognize that justice for black people cannot be achieved without radical changes in the structure of our society. Whites, it must frankly be said, are not putting in a similar mass effort to re-educate themselves out of their racial ignorance. It is an aspect of their sense of superiority that the white people of America believe they have so little to learn. For a man whose dream is clearly misinterpreted, MLK Jr. sure did see the color white, am I right? So post the Gallup poll of the public view of Martin Luther King, which only increased because he died. Tweet the survey which asked, when you heard the news of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which one of the things listed on the card was your strongest reaction? And the second highest response at 31% was people saying they felt he brought his murder on himself. By the way, I guess all the peaceful protests that middle America claims to respect didn't get him or us very far when it comes to voting now, did it? And don't get me started on MLK's "a riot is the language of the unheard" quote. People who claim they won't notice that I'm black, and those who highly regard Reagan, and the many that feel like CRT teaches to judge by skin color, just enjoy your day off. Hopefully it's a day on and you're serving your community. Don't make social media more of a hellscape. Reminder, less than a year before he was assassinated by someone with that skin color he frequently talked about, Martin Luther King Jr. said his dream had become a nightmare. For Rebel HQ, I'm Jeff Wiggins. My architect knows Japanese.
And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
For more from the Young Turks, stay right here. If you want to see content from yours truly, click on the hashtag below. I can also be found on all socials at He Gon' Be Alright. Thanks for watching.